Hey everyone, welcome to How's Your Wine? This is your host Nelson Ariabor, and tonight, man, we got a guest, Tierra She will go in depth on her career, her life, how she grew up, how she manages being a mother, and balances being a mixologist. So really insightful gems that she drops throughout the episode. I hope you guys really enjoy it and have continued to enjoy the episodes as well. So let's go, man. Let's get it. Hi everyone, welcome to How's Your Wine? This is Nelson Ariabor, and I'm here with Cup of Tea on Instagram. But let them know who you really are. What is behind Cup of Tea?
So my name is Tierra, and I own my own mobile bartending company. So I have a couple of mobile bars that I set up in people's backyards for private events. But I really kind of hold down the whole flow of how the events go, kind of how vendors, you have like taco vendors, you've got the balloon vendors, think of me as like, the bar vendor, the drink vendor. So, your theme, I always go off of clients' themes. And from there is when I can really create some magic. So everything just flows. We get a vision on how to execute it. Then the client gets to come in and create these cocktails with me, and it's just a beautiful like love of libation. And
Yeah,
that's kind of what I do. Yeah, just little pop-up events. And been bartending for 8 years, and I've been in business for myself for 2. Yeah. And it sprouted out of COVID, because think about it, the world shut down. And then when it was ready to reopen, you could only open up at a limited capacity. And so people were like, okay, we're going to start, especially in Texas, we're outlaws. They're like, we're about to start doing everything in our backyards. And so I saw a way to kind of, there was a demand, and built these bars and just set it up. So where I just cut out the middleman, and I am the man, one man.
Sure. So how did you get your start in bartending?
I got my start in bartending 2014, uptown McKinney Avenue, at a place called
Days.
Pop Diner.
Yeah.
Yes. Pop Diner is where, if anybody knows about McKinney Avenue back in 2014, it was uptown was very booming. So I was just looking, after I had my son, I was looking for some quick money, and I got thrown into a very high, fast paced, lots of people. I mean, there's lines on lines. And so I got thrown in the fire, and I realized I did really well in it. Not only did I do well in it, but I started to become like a chef with alcohol and with flavors. And I just started messing around. So it wasn't just Crown and Cokes I was doing. I started really tweaking things. And then from there, went on to Nick and Sam's, the Nilo, opened Whiskey Cake in Irving. Just kept going. It just kept, I just kept. And then I was like, okay, nobody else can teach me anything. So let me go. And that's what happened.
So you're basically self-taught.
Yeah, all self-taught. But I'm all self-taught by some of the greatest mixologists in the game at each place I've ever gone to. And I can really say I learned a lot when I worked at the Nilo I remember a bartender named Tammy. She had been in it for 30 years. So you pick up all this knowledge from all of these people who have been in the game.
Yeah.
And what's great is we always are about sharing. I'll go to a bar and people will share recipes with me. I share with them. It's kind of just like a code. And so I'm self-taught, but by just some of the greatest people who were able to give me that knowledge. At each establishment, I met a wonderful mixologist. Just pick things up.
So for people who aren't familiar, McKinney is like a big street in Dallas. Basically, like she said, in 2014, that's when a lot of things was popping. Now we're in 2022, and Dallas is so spread out now. You got like
so spread out.
So many neighborhoods in Dallas. Like, how has that changed your philosophy as far as like serving different people from all over DFW?
It hasn't changed my philosophy at all, because Dallas has always just been a huge melting pot. And every single party, whether it's just a different type of demographic, has the same type of people that want to have the same type of feeling. So it hasn't, even though everything's more spread out, every party kind of mimics each other. All of the guests mimic each other. But I love Dallas. I love Texas. All the people are just great. Yeah, I'll go all over the place. I will go to Dallas. I have one coming up in Terrell, and I
Okay.
always love the ones far out because I'm like, ooh, what are we about to get into?
East Texas, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So for you, like how did you grow up? Like where are you from originally? Like tell people more about like how you evolved
I love
into Tierra
that.
today.
Oh, I love that question. That's a great question. Okay.
I try and be
Hmm,
prepared,
we're,
you know.
yeah, we're getting deep. I like that. All right. Whew, okay. It's hot. No, I'm just kidding. I'm from Houston. I'm from Missouri City, Houston.
Okay.
And my parents moved up here in 2000. And I've lived here my whole life. I love it. I was married briefly and we had to go to the army, and I was in Georgia, and I couldn't do anything. I had a very sedentary life, and I was stuck kind of not doing that, but my mind never stopped. I was constantly always still wanting to get back home, and that's essentially what I did. I clawed my way back to Texas, got a divorce, and then I was like, what can I do? How can I really just shake things up? How can I just, create something that's my own? And I began thinking this in bartending.
Mm,
And my mom is a chef, actually. She worked at the Renaissance Hotel for probably 10 years. And she's also owned her own mobile massage company for 25 years. So I guess you could say I probably mimicked a very beautiful, strong Black woman and just watched her as a single parent. And I developed kind of the same thing where she saw a demand and I did the same. And I remember my mom used to work at the post office overnight, and just so she could still go to culinary school so she could get that job. And so I kind of had that same fire, is that I'm going to be going so hard at night, not
right.
getting home. Bartending, those
You can
clubs,
get
they don't
home
close
so
till
late.
2 a.m. I'm not getting home till 4. And you still got to get up. I'm a mom, but I still got up and I would create all of these recipes. I have this magic, I call it my burn book, because if you ever find me, you better burn it, because I will haunt you. And it has all of these recipes from over the years. And I would just, that's something that kept me up at night. Like, when you have a passion, like
Right.
there's no clock out time,
Hmm.
because it's just constantly setting you on fire. So that's what happened. I just felt something inside and knew that I wasn't going to stop here. And I can't stop. Now that I'm here, I'm like, okay, what's next? Now let's do this. It's not enough.
I love that. So when you were growing up, like when you saw your mom like go through that hustle and constant grind, um, how was there a moment during that time point where like, okay, now I got to do this for myself? I know you mentioned her mobile units for
Mhm.
massage, but like, what growing up clicked for you to be where you are today?
Um, well, because I watched her and we mimicked our environment, and I was put, into some situations where it was fight or flight. It was either, this pressure is going to break you or it's going to make diamonds. I think I've just always, our background is we're Louisiana, and so we're very, very like, there's no choice but to,
Yeah.
So that's kind of that. It just wasn't even an option to not have success, even despite obstacles and despite these things in front of you.
Hmm.
No, no, let's go, let's do it. I want it. I'm hungry. That's just what I watched. All the women around me when I was growing up were strong. So I just adapted the same thing.
Being a strong woman, as you mentioned, as you talked about with the many women in your life. I know you got a beautiful picture of your child right next to you. Um, how is it? How are you balancing your career and motherhood?
Man, how do I balance my career and motherhood? I have wine on Wednesdays. I, no, honestly, they're not even a job to me. My I This is just routine. I balance it in a way to where there's a time and a place. So I'm very scheduled, very organized. I run a tight ship. And so I make sure there's a time for business. There's a time where I need to sit down and turn the phone off. I schedule things out for myself to where I can always, I think the thing is just finding constant balance. because I'm still getting up in the morning, going to the gym for an hour and a half. Like, you just have to find that balance, because ultimately, if you're not finding areas where you can really focus on one thing, well, then it's going to pull away from over here, because you're going to need that later. So just take your time, see where you're needed, and just go from there. But everything's about organization for me. Time and place. How's my energy feel? What does this feel like? That's very just in tune with myself to know, hey, let's slow it down.
Hey, you gonna have a big following after this because like
I love
your
that.
mentality is just to be built different. 'Cause what I see you on IG posting, and you're like every event, like really going through
Hmm.
the the process and making sure
Hmm.
that your guests are happy, but making sure that you're having a good time too, and finding that balance between your guests and yourself. And then as you talk about your mental preparation, I mean, kudos to you. That's big time.
100%. I mean, think about it. You have to even start, you got to think about yourself in ways of self preservation. So, everything that you're doing, when you're trying to balance your career, your personal, you know, family, because that's a whole nother thing, finances, you really got to sit there and just think, like, how am I going to be able to function, put my mind in this without it pulling away from my spirit. So setting boundaries with yourself,
Hmm.
to also know, like, this is pulling too much, or hey, if I can give an example, I reached a little bit too high because I wanted to get to the next level so fast, but I didn't take my time to cultivate, to craft, to set boundaries with myself, to know, like, hey, no, you want to do it all, but it's okay to say you can't. I was taking on multiple events, 3 events in one day. So one could be in Plano, one could be over here in Terrell, one's in Dallas. And when you start doing that, there's some things that start falling apart. I can't split myself in three to where my vision can come through each time.
Hmm.
And I felt failure with that, and so I took a step back and I said, okay, so now I'm going to create this boundary with myself, and that's going to help me self preserve my company, my authenticity when I'm working, and just my craft. I would never want anything to not go out 110%. So not 65, not 90, no, 110 and above.
So boundaries, that's a big word. I think that's almost like the word of the year for a lot of people, including myself. Like
Hmm.
I've personally definitely have struggled with like setting boundaries for myself. So for people like me or others, like what was that moment for you when you realized, okay, boundaries are gonna make or break me?
Like, burn, like getting burned, failure. How? And then, and it's like, sit in failure, sit in the pain, but there's a deadline. And after that deadline, what are we going to do to prevent this from happening? What can we? And it's just about protecting yourself. Maybe turning it around. Boundaries is such a bold word. Maybe turning it around and kind of changing your perspective and being like, well, how do I protect myself? How do I guard myself? Simply thinking about it like that, you've already
Mhm.
created a boundary. That it's as simple as that. Treating yourself, I don't think we treat ourselves with enough kindness. I don't think we speak enough kindness to ourselves. And so we start talking to ourselves differently, like, how can I take care of you today? That's how I start my day. Actually, I will go outside and I'm like, okay, what do I need? What do I need today to be successful? Do I need more rest today? Do I need to answer that email? Can this call wait? Just creating boundaries, just always coming from a place of love for yourself to,
Mhm.
I'm all about just pouring into here, and then I can give out all I need to. But that starts with me.
And you spin bars right now. You spin bars.
I'm just, you know, you know,
All right, let's
me and
take a
Erica
little break.
Badu have the same birthday.
So we're playing this game called Five Faves. So I'm going to ask you what your favorite thing is. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the first question is, what is your favorite wine varietal? For your wine Wednesday, you sitting chilling at the crib. What are you sipping on?
Okay. Oh, it's such a tie battle between these two, but it's hard. Okay, so I had to pick my favorite. If this is what I'm going out with, it's gonna be my Freak Show Cabernet.
Oh,
I love my Freak Show Cabernet. Oh my gosh, I had 2 bottles of it last night.
there you go. Yeah.
It's my favorite. Mhm.
All right. Freak Show Cabernet. Next, your favorite signature drink to make?
Oh, old fashioned.
Old fashioned.
And it is a very easy drink to make, but the history behind it and how many ways that you can expand on it, oh, it's just everything. I love an old fashioned. I actually have an old fashioned right now to the left of me.
All right. Favorite events to work?
Oh, okay. Um, Favorite events to work. I love doing things when it comes with the cause. Like when I met you at the Two Fly Foundation, I was just in love with that. And I did another charity that Bank of Texas put on, but they were doing a mixology course, but it was going towards it was going to I think it was one of the it was St. Jude's Cancer Hospital over here, and so
Mm,
all of the proceeds went to there if they signed up for the class. Anything that has to do with giving back, I have a nonprofit coming up that I like. I am just so excited for. So anything like with the cause, um, that's my favorite. Just teamed up with something called Elevate Coffee. They give clean water to children in Guatemala. Check them out.
yeah, we need to
But
make
that,
sure anyone that's listening, if you got an organization or company that's
yes.
doing something for a good cause, make sure you hit up Tierra and hopefully we can get you some more business.
Yeah, I love that. You got to always use your platform for something else.
For
So I
sure.
really believe in that.
No doubt. All right. Two more faves. Favorite piece of advice you've received?
Um, Observe, don't absorb. See it. You know, see it for what it is. Don't take it on. You don't have to. It's your choice. See it. Be there. Do what you need to. Don't absorb it.
You got to put a mixtape out after this.
All right. All right. All
All right.
right.
Last favorite childhood memory.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Man, I feel like I'm old. Huh, okay. 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 When I got my first car, and
Okay.
I will say it's just because it's funny. I had just turned 16, and my mom was one of those moms where she'd sit me down in front of the puzzle and be like, okay, until you do this, don't get up. So I always thought my way out of problems, but she's always been like that. It's just some twisted. So I get my car. I'm excited. I'm like, whoa, I'm about to go to Arby's. Like, oh, it's lit. Um, I get in. I look down, and it's a stick shift. And I was like, are you serious? I just passed my driver's test. It took so long. Seriously? Um, she was like, yeah. So good luck. Um, took me took me a week and a half, but I taught myself how to drive a stick. It's one of my favorite things to do now. I can drift. I became actually a pretty cool girl, but that was probably my favorite thing because now I've used that so much in life. Just off that one moment where I thought it was so sour, it's actually pretty cool, and I've driven some pretty cool cars.
So you are a like multi-talented. You are a philosopher. You're a mixologist, a rapper, artist. Like you have so many different traits. You're a race car driver. I mean, what is your favorite job? What is your favorite job?
Oh, my favorite job is just you just mean on like on this earth what I just
Yeah,
doing or just
yeah. Let's call it six faves. Added one more favorite question. Your
my
favorite
favorite
job?
thing, favorite job that I do feel compelled by it every single day is to literally be a vessel in the best possible way and sharing of knowledge, love, um, humor, laughter. I see you, I hear you. Just being a vessel. There needs to be more of that. There needs to be so much more of that, and so I'm so compelled by that, and because of it, that's how I live. That by my everyday and what I do in my business with my children and with my family. So my friends. Yeah, I just got to be something a little bit different than what we're so disconnected. Yeah, I'm just trying to bring
Or
that back a little bit.
yo, that's yeah,
Yeah,
facts, no doubt.
yeah.
For you, like, what do you appreciate most about your journey right now?
I think hmm, what have I been saying? Hold on. You may need to let me give me a second because I've been saying
Yeah,
something lately. Um, hmm. Oh, that's what I've been saying. You know what I appreciate? I didn't appreciate it at first. Oh, I didn't appreciate it. But I have appreciated how uncomfortable I have been in this stage that I'm in my life because I have so many things changing. And I have things that I thought were obstacles, but I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, this just is, I think this is redirection. I've appreciated being uncomfortable because it's telling me that, okay, we're not where we need to be. Where is this gray zone that we're in? What are you feeling? There's
mhm,
so much in that space of sitting in the unknown that is essentially uncomfortable. That is the catalyst to that next stage. So I'm like, something's about to happen. So I think each time that we have a sense of this is the loneliest I've ever been, I don't know where I'm going, this isn't working out, all of that, just know that something's coming. Keep going through it. Like there's something to be said in those moments, and also there's something to just you're going to end up elevating yourself once you come out. So I'm like, okay, now each time that I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to look at this a little bit differently. So yeah,
you want to something.
I'm
You
on to
want to
something.
good.
Cusp of something on the precipice of I don't know what because I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm opening up myself and allowing myself to make mistakes, and to know that it's okay. You're not going to always be perfect. That's hard for me. That's hard. I'm my biggest critic.
So, do you find it more difficult to not be a perfectionist because you are a bartender, right? It's like if I come to you and I ask for a
Now,
drink,
see, that's a little different.
and
That's a little different. I'm not gonna send. I'm. You're not gonna get it out until I've got it,
gotcha.
and I've got it pretty down packed. That yeah, there's not much I can flex on with that. But that
So
the drinks,
you
you're
got to be
gonna
on
get it
point.
every time. You're gonna get it every time.
Bet.
Hmm.
All right, so I'm on your IG. It's at cup.x.t if you're following at home. And in the bio, you say shaking up dreams and pouring until your cup is full. When I think of that quote, like that thing's for me, it's like dreams, right? Like you're bringing dreams of that upper echelon, that potential, that life, that you're serving to your customers. So for you, like, what do you dream of professionally, and what do you dream of personally?
Okay, professionally, um, I want to end up making this like my full time, all time. This is what I do. Um, this at right now, as beautiful and wonderful as it is, we all know this is the time of inflation. So
Hmm.
this is my side hustle, and I would love for it to eventually become my main. And I have a couple. I've got a 1 year plan, 3 year plan, 5 year plan. Just updated it actually a week ago. I can't wait to hit that 5 year, and I think at that 5 year, I've got something pretty cool up my sleeve that this may be able to just be my main. Um, and in personal, in February, I'll be 30.
Hey.
So I've got this fun new decade, that I'm entering into,
Hmm.
um, as a business owner, a single mom. I just bought my first house. There's
Congratulations.
something, thank you so much. There's something just, I'm like, ooh, so personal, to be honest with you. I don't know. And I think I'm really excited to not know. I think I'm okay with that. I don't really have any expectations for personal at all. But just to travel, I just want to travel. I've been dying to go to like Bali. If I can go to
Ooh.
Mykonos, you know, I'm just trying to. just
Trying to live.
exist, spread love, just trying to live. I don't really have any. Mm-mm. You can ask me. It's so funny. I can talk about business all day. Personal, I'm like, oh, I think I'm sweating. Like, whoo, personal. I
My
don't
bad,
know.
my bad.
Let's talk Excel spreadsheets. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, let's
You
not
can
do that.
ask me.
Let's not do that. It's Saturday.
It's
We don't need
okay.
to do all that.
No, no.
All right. I know it's cutting close to our time here, but the last question I wanted to ask you, because you are obviously just learning more about you, has been wonderful. What's the best part of being about you? What's the best part of being you? I guess is the best way to phrase that.
The immense amount of genuine love I have to give without wanting anything back. That's the best part of me because I think I live by something too in my company. And when you look at, if you go on my page and you look at, my parties and my events, love is all in the details. And that's with everything that I do. And when you lead with love, man, I see why Diddy changed his name. It just made sense to me. And I relate to that man. And I will frown on anybody that has anything to say about that because I am love.
Hey,
Yeah, that's me.
well, Tierra, I appreciate it. You go by Tierra, right? Is that cool?
Yes,
Yeah.
Tierra. Yes.
Appreciate you for joining. Your flexibility today's been awesome. I know you've been super busy, stuck in traffic.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're good. For real. It happens. But thank you again for jumping on. It's been a couple months.
Thank you. What you're doing is awesome. I love watching your segments. I couldn't wait to be on it. Like I'm just when I hear you talk about wine and you can be able to relate to people who maybe they are just trying to step into the game. You have a whole platform that just like it's so relatable and it's funny. And I love all of the beautiful people you bring on. I did my homework before I got on. I was like, all right, okay, make sure you know how to answer these questions.
I mean, for real, that definitely makes me feel a lot better about myself. And I do this
love
because,
what you're doing.
Yeah, I do this because I want to bring the best out of people. And in turn, I bring the best out of myself. So,
yes.
we appreciate that.
And I love to see, we love to see it.
So, where can people find you at? Drop the IG, drop your website, email. How can people reach you?
So when you go to my IG, you'll be able to access my email through there, and the rest is, that's it. That's history. Everything's pretty much. I'm pretty IG based.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure y'all follow her. It's cup.x.t on IG. If you have any questions, reach out to her, and then you guys can follow me, Nelson at How's Your Wine. So again, thank you, T. Thank you, Tierra.
Oh, thank you
for your time, and we'll talk soon.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.